There are names that history chooses to remember and names it chooses to forget. Marie Laveau is one of those names that exists in two worlds, celebrated in folklore, erased from textbooks. But the woman who bore that name in the cotton fields of Mississippi was not the voodoo queen of New Orleans legend. She was something far more dangerous to the established order, a woman who understood that knowledge, carefully gathered and strategically deployed, could dismantle the very foundations of power. What you're about to hear is not the sanitized version taught in schools, nor the mystical tale sold to tourists on Bourbon Street. This is the story they refused to print in history books because it revealed an uncomfortable truth, that the enslaved were not passive victims waiting for salvation, but architects of their own liberation using weapons far more subtle than rebellion. And Marie Laveau, a Mississippi slave whose real story was deliberately obscured, wielded those weapons with a precision that would change dozens of lives forever. The Natchez district of Mississippi in 1839 was a place where fortunes were measured in human beings and land. The Mississippi River carved through the landscape like a vein of commerce, carrying cotton downstream to New Orleans, and wealth upstream to the plantation owners who controlled thousands of acres of rich bottomland. The Beaumont plantation stretched across 3,000 acres of that fertile soil, and at its center stood a white columned house that represented everything the South wanted to believe about itself. Graceful, refined, built on what they called tradition, but what was actually the systematic exploitation of 247 souls who had no choice but to make that wealth possible. The plantation operated like a small kingdom with its own internal economy,